Hey guys, I didn't want to wait to get fully up to answer this. I was scared I'd forget to answer. Sister wrote, "Hey, my sister's a Seventh-day Adventist, and she says that we have to keep the Sabbath because I love how people take like one thing in the Mosaic Law and claim that is what's supposed to justify you. But anyway, um, obviously Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath, and He is our Sabbath. The Sabbath is a picture of the rest that we have in Christ. It is. If you want to keep the Saturday Sabbath, you're welcome to, just like you're welcome to keep the Passover. They're wonderful because they all point to what Jesus did for us. If that's what you want to do, fantastic. The point is, you're not being saved by it, and if you don't do it, you're not in trouble. It has nothing to do with salvation. The reason the Jewish people, the apostles, kept the Sabbath after Jesus' resurrection is one reason. They are Jews. They're Jews. They grew up with that tradition of the law. Nobody ever told them they couldn't honor their feast and their day of rest every week. And also, it's crazy to me that people misunderstand what neither Jew or Gentile means. All it means, let me just clear this up. All that it means when it says there is no Jew or Greek, male or female, bond or free, is that nobody is in a better standing with God because of their bloodline. Nobody's saved or more loved or less loved because of their genealogy. That everybody is equal in Christ, because Christ has made us all righteous by His death, burial, and resurrection. Nobody is in a better standing because of who their forefathers were. So if you're a physical descendant of Abraham, it doesn't mean that you're any more loved than a child of Abraham by faith, because we're all children of Abraham by faith. Being no Jew or Gentile doesn't mean that you won't honor your forefathers' traditions anymore. So that's not what it means at all. It just means that, what I told you. So if a person wants to do it, great. But no parts of the law justify anyone in the sight of God. And it's absolutely crazy to take one of the commandments and say, this is the one that everyone has to keep to be saved. That is nuts. If you offend in one, you've already broken the whole of the law. Nobody by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified in His sight. And it isn't honor the Sabbath and keep it holy. Isn't that one of the commandments? Isn't that part of the law? Part of the ordinances that Jesus wore on the cross and took the enmity against us away? Yes, it is. So that's why the Jews kept the Sabbath after His resurrection. Are they going to stop being Jews? No, of course not. They're going to stop trusting in the law for salvation, but they're not going to stop being Jews that honor the traditions of their forefathers. Eventually, Peter came out of it with the food laws, because he was eating with Gentiles. And then he became a hypocrite and got all legalistic, and Paul had to call him out on it. So they knew in the book of Acts that Judaism was not necessary for salvation. You didn't have to be a Jew to be saved. And that's what this Hebrew roots mess is just crazy. I'm going to do a video on it. It's getting out of control. But honey, when I answered you, and it was a short answer, you said, why did Peter and everybody still keep the Sabbath after His resurrection if there is no more Jew or Gentile in Christ? I said, because they're Jews. And you were like, what does that mean? I thought there was no more Jew. Okay, I hope I made it clear, and I'm so sorry my answer was short. The reason I said they're Jews is because they are. And they grew up their whole lives keeping the Sabbath. Of course they're going to keep the Sabbath. It's what they believed was right. And there was nothing wrong with them keeping it forever. I mean, if that's what they want to do. The feast and the Sabbath, they all point to Jesus. So there's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with the law when it's not used lawfully is trying to be justified by the law. That's when it's wrong. When you think within yourself doing things of the law, like keeping the Sabbath, is actually saving you. That's where it's wrong. Okay, honey, I hope I answered that. All right, God bless.